Alright, it's been a long time coming, but it is time for us to finally finish this campaign. However, in order to do that, we're going to have to carve a third path for ourselves. And thankfully, we have the hands on side to help us with that. So this battle that we're about to do is so brainless and so easy and so pointless, and it's so goddamn fun. This is amazing. I am all for this fight. So, back in the Super Smash Bros. Melee days, there were a myriad of rumours, often from third parties, about how you could unlock Master Hand as a playable character. Obviously, not true, you can't do that. Yeah, Master Hand is designed to be a boss, and a boss first and foremost. That said, time went on, and eventually a glitch was discovered that allowed you to play as Master Hand, but it was kind of finicky and not particularly functional, and could quite easily crash the game if you did said glitch. And now we reach Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, literally 17 years later, and here it is, the first official appearance of a playable Master Hand, and he's so ridiculously OP. It is so satisfying to just slap away these insects in front of you. This fight is nothing more than a power trip, and it is the most satisfying, the most fan-serving power trip that you honestly could have given us, and I'm so sad that you cannot rematch this. This is a one-off battle, and once it's done, it's done. You have to play through the whole campaign again in order to rematch this. And that is a crying shame. Because if I was like, you know, if I found myself one day just in a bad mood and wanted to cheer myself up, I would come here. I would turn right to this fight and just beat up a bunch of spirits with this angry hand, and Lord knows I would have fun with it in a very stress ball-esque fashion. So yeah. Anyway, to remind you of Master Hand's origins as a character, in the original opening for the original Smash Bros., Master Hand appears kind of as a stand-in for a child playing with their Nintendo toys. So, to that end, his role within the narrative of Smash has always been very abstract and open to interpretation. Like, is Master Hand still filling that role, representing the player, so to speak, and is Crazy Hand representing a more destructive side of said player? It's kept vague, and I like that it's kept vague. That said, if you want my personal interpretation of what Master and Crazy represent in this game, I warn you up front, it's quite politically charged, but to me they give off the idea of the power of an individual to stand up against an uncaring entity, be it a government or a corporation or even a nation embroiled in war. These conflicts are going to happen, and often they'll happen with self-interest in mind, and what it really takes is for people at the ground level to step away from it all and be like, nah, this isn't right, in order to actually make a difference. But that's my take on it, and that's what I like about all of this endgame and these final boss fights and the ending. It's all kept relatively vague. Ultimate, at the beginning, kind of teased the notion that it was going to have a cohesive narrative with a fully animated cutscene with dialogue and such. And, yeah, no, it then pulled a complete 180 and got more and more abstract as it went on. And here we are now. But anyway, here we go with the big final boss battle against both of them at once. And this fight is drastically different depending on the difficulty you approach them with. If you go at this on very easy difficulty, you can breeze through this all, they barely attack you, you take hardly any damage, it's fine. At this difficulty, this fight is a ball ache. It absolutely rocks my world, and even with this output I have of Master Core, and the Master Beast, and the Master Edges, all teaming up together, I still have some trouble with this, so yeah. And to clarify, yes, that spirit is trained in the demon style to boost my attack power, and I also have Celebi on to slowly raise my HP, But given the nature of this fight, the fact that it's a multi-tiered fight with different sections, yeah, the game does give you healing periodically, and thank goodness for it. So yeah, this whole first section is a platforming section. You have to essentially ascend up to the heavens where Gleam and Darkon are having their spat. And as you go, you run into agents from both of them. Thankfully, because the two of them are at war, and your appearance does not change that, friendly fire is on. These are two separate factions that can hurt each other. So if you want to battle cowards, you can just sit back and let them fight each other, and they will. And they will eventually take each other out, giving you a quick and easy win. That said, my big strong Donkey Kong is here to get in there and do this all himself. And here we have a really fun section. So if not for the fact that I powered up my spirit as much as I had, I wouldn't be able to do enough damage to that eye to repel it. At which point I'd have to play an evasion game, and I wouldn't have had access to that Maxim Tomato for healing, or that jetpack. So this is a way of like rewarding heavier characters with stronger attacks and allowing them to progress over lighter characters who could just fly up to the top and stay up there and just camp up there away from the conflicts. It means that every character can get through this section relatively easily. And it's very clearly been designed for the lowest common denominator, like a slow Ganondorf with reduced jump power, as evidenced by the fact that it does go quite slowly. I think for difficulty reasons, this whole section could have been quite a bit quicker, especially with the, upwards ascent. But that's just me. Because I've kind of got the best of both worlds right now. I've got a character who can do a decent amount of jumps, keep himself up in the air, is relatively fast, and is actually strong enough to repel Gleam and Darkon when they come into attack. So, yeah. Anyway, for this next section, these tendrils actually come out at preset locations, unlike the previous encounter with them, where they come out depending on where you are. So, quite easy to dodge if you've had a few whacks at this particular section, which I have. I tried getting through this whole fight without losing a single stock. That didn't work out. I had to do that on an easy difficulty. Instead, I just focused on getting through it in one go without having to continue. Which on its own is still quite hard to do. There's a lot of fight here, a ton of fight to do. Anyway, these spirit vessels being called in are all like really, really susceptible to knockback, but not so much to damage. So the key to fighting these guys is just to use moves that have inherent knockback to them, that have kill potential. Donkey Kong's up B in particular, if you catch one of them in that, it kills them from 0%. So yeah, don't bother racking up damage, just go in for kill moves. If you can. And there we are. Let's go get another heal. Another redundant heal. I'm kind of on top of things right now. And skadoosh. That's another thing. When you play this on very easy difficulty, you can, like, take down those orbs in, like, a single hit. It's ridiculous, the divide in power level when it comes to the different difficulties in this fight. But yeah, rest assured, this is the highest difficulty, so I am showing you what Gleam and Darkon are truly capable of when they give it their all. And they are capable of some BS. Or will be, shortly later in the fight. This section is just the Rocket Belt section, with lots of little bob-bombs. This is great for small characters, not so much for big chunky ones. And yet, got through it without a single hitch. Look at that. Look at that Donkey Kong skill right there. He may be a big lumbering ape, but and no one can claim that Donkey Kong doesn't have dexterity, you know? At the end of the day, he's a platforming protagonist, so of course he's going to be relatively good at jumping, ape or not. So here we have the final volley of enemies before we move on to the next phase. Same as before, don't be afraid to just sit back and let them kick crap out of each other. But if you are playing as a strong character, like I am at the moment, then you may as well speed things up a little with a couple of spammed up Bs that really seem to do the job, particularly when you're near the edge. Just absolutely ruins them, just doesn't let them back on. Grabs are also very effective, I find, especially with Donkey Kong, so... yeah, regardless of what character you come at this with, figure out your kill moves, figure out which moves give the most knockback, and rely on those. If you can't find anything, hide, sit back, camp, let them kill each other. They will. They don't always go for you either. Their AI does tell them to, you know, attack one another if, you know, they're the closest things to one another. And that can be supremely useful. It's something we don't see a lot in this campaign, if ever, but it makes for a very interesting dynamic in the final battle. And now it's time for the next phase. For this phase, Light and Darkness are fighting each other with little orbs. You have to take down the orbs, and each orb is a boss battle. It's the boss rush. If you take all of Darkon's orbs down, or all of Gleam's orbs down, before the other one, then you start getting peppered even when you're in the overworld, so try and get a nice balance of the two. So that is Dracula, take it down once again. Same battle as it was before, if not a little tougher. It feels like Dracula's got a little more health to account for him being at the final boss battle. There's Galleon once again. Very surprised of all these subspace emissary bosses they brought in. They brought in Galleon. Weird choice, but alright. We do get healing for every 2 battles we beat, and that is pretty vital. I can't see this being even remotely doable without that. Here we have Ganondorf, Bowser, Marx, and Rathalos. They're all the same fight, so breezing through those. I know what you all came here for. You came here for the final battle. And here it is. Gleam and Darkon at the same goddamn time, fighting each other whilst fighting you. So, personally, I find this fight, it's doable when you focus on lowering their health relatively evenly. If you spend too much time taking down one of them, it will simply empower and allow the other to absolutely whoop you for it. Whereas if you keep them both alive as long as you can, they do slowly whittle each other down with friendly fire while you're dodging their moves or doing your bit to stay desperately alive while they barrage you with bullshit. So that's kind of the way to go about this. You'll notice in that move in particular, even though I am getting peppered with Gleam's fire, a lot of those hit Darkon. So if you position yourself, even while dodging, to make them hit each other, that can be incredibly beneficial for this fight. Also, you'll notice that Gleam's little orbs there go horizontally and Darkon's go diagonally. An important thing to take note of when you are trying to purposefully get them to hit each other. In fact, this fight is all about learning both of their patterns and learning how to take advantage of them, not just dodge them. And when you do so much damage to one of them in quick succession, it does, same as before, reduce them down to an orb so you can get a free hit. But there's a little bit of a twist this time, and we will see that when it comes to pass. Anyway, the fact that that little orb got undermined by the fireball there was so helpful, because that would have killed me. Sweet Jesus. It's all the attacks happening at once. It's so much. This is just such a hard fight to coordinate yourself around, particularly playing as a big character like Donkey Kong. So yeah, if I could advise anything, I would say play as a small but powerful character. Maybe a character who can, you know, turn themselves invincible. You know, like Kirby, the one who we established was able to take on Gleam and Darkon at the very beginning of this campaign. Kirby kind of rocks this fight, way better than most other characters do, so yeah. Which is fitting. It feels like serendipity that he, of all characters, can survive this chaotic onslaught of moves. Anyway, you'll notice that both Gleam and Darkon are now getting to relatively low health. Darkon setting up his horrible time-slowing ability, which, paired up with Gleam, can be devastating. With these two, it's all about accidental coordination. Sometimes the two of them will accidentally throw a combination of moves at you that rock your world, and there's nothing you can do about it. So you just have to hope sometimes as well. Hope that they use their more dodgeable and counterable abilities. Now we've got them both to desperation phase, they come at me with their Undertale attack. Or at least that's what I like to call it. As we have to dodge all of the streams of light and darkness. And, Gleam's there as well now. Yep, because I've been lowering them both evenly. Oh, sweet Jesus. The two of them are, oh my god. Oh my god! Yeah, I wasn't surviving that. Yeah, the two of them are just in sync right now, and let's see how long Cloud can survive in the face of this. Oh, back to the Undertale move. Back to dodging. Oh god. Your air dodge can give you like half a second of invincibility, which can be useful. So, please make liberal use of that if you're really stuck there. Just don't fall off the platforms or you're in big trouble. Anyways, goddamn, both of them are low at health now, and therefore pulling out their bigger, stronger, more devastating moves. Double-edged sword, because they're also hitting each other with those moves. And by reducing Gleam down to an orb, Darkon is gonna do this! Oh! Sweet Jesus! They're so violent to each other. They're so very violent, guys. Why can't you just work this out? Why can't we all be civil here? In the world of Super Smash Brothers. Oh my god, how many? Oh, Jesus. It's constant. How did I not get killed by that? Oh, god. Alright, Darkon. I'm trying to give Darkon loads of pressure right now, so he'll be reduced to an orb. Nope. Back to calling in recruits. Exploding recruits. Oh, god. Okay, they didn't take me out. Darkon, I need you to be dead. Or at least reduced back to an orb. Come on, Darkon. Just stop being... Oh, god. Stop being such a pain in the patoot. Alright, back to this again. I'm really good at dodging this now, just through virtue of having to practice it so many times. And how frequently they like pulling it out. Yeah. Okay, come on. I want to show off what happens when you become an orb, Darkon. But I also don't want to die. I'm in that weird LP and middle ground where I want to be informative and show things off, but also not to die. There we go. Got him. Alright, Darkon is now reduced to orb. Get some free hits. And Gleam, gonna stab him. Okay, I've officially now showed off the thing that I wanted to show off, so now I just need to focus on winning. To die at this point, after getting them both to such low health, would be the worst possible thing. But, you know, this is Smash Bros, so now they're at low health, neither of them take any damage to anything. Both of them have such high defense now, they're so hard to kill. So, yeah, I'm gonna focus on keeping both of them alive in the hope that they do just as much damage to each other as they're gonna be doing to me. Okay, I don't like this. Oh, iframes didn't save me on that one. I was being too wishy-washy with the edge. Kirby, Master Core, this is on you. It's time for Super Smash Bros. 4's final boss to take down 5's final boss. That feels right to me. Okay. Oh, this again? Thank goodness I'm Kirby at least. I could just kinda bob around all of this. Kinda. Alright, this is it. Final stretch. We are going to take down the last little bit of Gleam and Darkon's health. I just have to be equal parts aggressive and evasive. That was one too many dodges. That could have been really good if not for that. Oh god, Gleam's biggest attack and I somehow dodged it. Alright. Won't look that gift horse in the mouth. There goes Darkon. He's all mad about it. And he can die mad about it. And right after, I take out Gleam before he can do his big finisher again. That is it. We have beaten Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. And for me, that's the third time I've beaten it. Played it the first time round, recorded it all the way through for the first incarnation of SLP. Wasn't feeling it, and did it again. But it was worth it. So, the ending of this game is where the abstractions just reach their fever pitch. Gleam and Darkon fall apart. light and darkness as concepts are no longer a thing. And in response to that, we get something of a big bang. All the spirits they had control over, all the spirits I've relinquished, everybody, everything. Yeah, it's all reset back to 0. Remember when this was about a kid playing with his toy trophies in his bedroom? Now it's become a whole other thing.
Colors weave into a spire of flame. Distant sparks call to a past still unnamed. Bear this torch against the cold of the night. Search your soul and reawaken the undying light.
So there have been many fan-made interpretations of what this ending represents. There's one where it suggested that Gleam and Darkon represent the relationship between Nintendo and the other game companies and their fan bases, and the spirits represent the intellectual properties that are being mangled and contorted to fit the wants and needs of the developers compared to the consumers. Others have theorized that the letting go of all the spirits is Sakurai's way of saying he's letting go of the series, he's done with this, and that is that. But I have a different take on this. It's a take that you'll probably notice helped inform the way that I approached this LP. To me, what I can see here from a literal perspective is all of the spirits, i.e. the intellectual properties, being released. They're being sent back to their own universes, which is the way things should be. Smash Bros, for as great as it is in its own right, is a product of amalgamation, a bunch of different people's creative visions being pulled together to create a new thing. But at the end of the day, that should not compromise the integrity of the original works. This whole campaign has been a love letter to those works. So, yeah, going forward, if you want a more conclusive and satisfying ending for whichever ones of these characters you've bonded with and gone through the campaign with, you have their own games, and that's how you should find that closure. So, with that covered, I'm sure you're asking the question, where do we go from here? Well, there's still a whole bunch of spirits for me to get, so continuing this LP, I'm just going to be collecting those. Including ones that are added to the game with patches and future DLC. So look forward to that. Thank you so very much once again to all my patrons, particularly James Cameron, Kasinzi, Lumperfowl Deformity, Pokepal, Quasarstellar, Sheneldrack, and Shameboy. And another big thank you to Your Pal Hal, Kasinzi, and Endemy Scoob for joining me. See you all later.